Trash talk and fantasy football have always and will always go hand in hand with each other. There is nothing more satisfying than humiliating your opponent on and off the fantasy gridiron. This fantasy football season, I use my skills of video editing and comedy writing to craft a 2 to 3 minute roast video for each member of my fantasy football league. I posted these videos on my Instagram and TikTok, but there is one problem. The length of these videos are not ideal for either platform.
This bores me.
So I decided to put them all together in one long video for YouTube, where I have a relatively larger following. And because I think some of these are genuinely too good to be lost to the For You page of TikTok. So sit back and enjoy the roast, and when you're done, if you like my style and sense of humor, you can subscribe right here on YouTube. And then you can follow me on all the other social media platforms at Rob Elderton. I'll talk sports all day on Twitter, and I believe I'm the oldest person on TikTok. Don't forget to comment below your favorite roasts. I also plan on doing a video for fantasy football punishments, so definitely subscribe for that video when it drops. Again, these are the roasts of 11 non-famous, completely normal, unknown people you've never heard of, so take it with a grain of salt. And these will all come off as a little repetitive because they all follow the same formula. I honestly just don't have a home for these videos. If you want to compare this to a Comedy Central roast, it would be the roast of Rob Lowe, as in nobody asked for it. But please enjoy the season-long slow roast. Team names in fantasy football leagues are awful. Unfunny puns that include NFL players' names. It's hacky. So what I started doing a few years ago was changing my team name every week to insult whoever I was playing.
Man, you are one pathetic loser.
That, combined with a team logo I made with my remedial Photoshop skills, is how I would numb the pain of being the worst team in this league. So follow me in my process in a new series I'm calling the Season-Long Slow Roast. This week's matchup is against my former roommate, Erik. Erik has been a tad grumpy in the group chat recently, and he's been overusing the mocking SpongeBob meme. So this week I'm going to turn him into that meme. We will start by going to his Facebook page and clicking on all photos. Here's a nice picture of him at an ASU game with his fiance. We're going to blur her face because I'm not playing her this week. And now we'll isolate him. Take his torso here, rotate it. I'm going to put a picture of the SpongeBob memes for a point of reference, and then it's just puppet warp, getting the position we want. Going to do the same thing for the arm and really make the bent elbow pretty prominent. I'm going to do the same thing for the legs, more puppet warp. I'm not trying too hard. If you try too hard, it's not funny. Now his face. We're going to make his head a little bigger, make that big old beak. It's going to distort the way his face looks, so I'm just going to smudge it and deal with it later. I tried to use his actual eyes for this, but it came out terrifying, so I'm just going to steal SpongeBob's and put them down to size. For the mouth, I'm just going to paint it. Again, don't try too hard. We're going to now steal his hat and put that on his head, and we're going to take out that anchor, and Erik is currently in first place in the league. So I think the whole league should know. So we're going to put first place and put it on his hat. I'm going to do a few more cosmetic changes, and I'm going to put him back on the original photo with a drop shadow, and there you have it. I have now turned Erik into the SpongeBob meme he overuses far too often. I'll go in and change my team name to something like, I'm Erik, I'm in first place. You guys don't know Erik, but anyone who does will tell you that is a spot-on impression. And if this photo isn't displayed at his wedding, I will burn the venue to the ground. And there you have it. Episode 1 of the Season Slow Roast. Follow me for next week when I have a new team and a new logo. Thanks. Welcome back to episode 2 of changing my fantasy football team name and logo to make fun of whoever I'm playing that week in what I'm calling the season-long slow roast. This week's opponent is Marcus, a seemingly nice young man, a licensed physical therapist. He even is a mascot for several professional sports teams. But Marcus has a deep, dark secret. Marcus is a Disney adult. Disney adults are menaces to society. They are broken people with a distorted and fabricated memory of their own childhoods. And now as adults, they in a sense try to make up for lost time from these false memories of an underprivileged childhood. Some go as far as getting good jobs as physical therapists to finance this sick addiction to a child's entertainment empire. It is a very slippery slope from Disney adult to actual criminal behavior of a sick and twisted nature. Sound familiar? I don't want this to happen to Marcus, so I reached out to a friend who's an expert in the field to help cure or at least curb Marcus's Disney addiction before it's too late.
Hello, Marcus, or maybe I should call you by your secret screen name, Disney Adult. What do you mean by Disney Adult, Marcus? Chris Hansen here of Hansen vs. Predators, To Catch a Predator. Now, Marcus, I'm going to need you to have a seat right over there. I've been going through some transcripts and I have some questions and some concerns, mainly about, well, you being a Disney adult, and perhaps needing some sort of intervention before you head down a bad path. It's a gateway. It's not illegal as it is now, but it is a gateway to meeting me in a dark kitchen someplace for an interrogation, having to call your pal Rob to throw your bail. Do you think Rob would do that? I don't know. He changes his team name almost every week. So just behave yourself. Don't go down that bad path. In the meantime, I'll be watching out for you. So stay safe, stay healthy, stay out of trouble, won't you?
Thanks, Mr. Hansen. Anyway, let's get to that team name and logo. For the logo, we will put Disney as the backdrop, obviously. When you think of Disney, you think of happy kids. So we'll put some happy kids here enjoying Disneyland. And uh-oh, here comes Disney adult Marcus taking a selfie because it's all about him. And since Disney caters to these people because they make all the money, the kids are now waiting in longer lines, having a worse time, and they are upset and crying. So we'll just make them crying, and there you have it. There's the logo of the Disney adult Marcus. And I will add that as my team logo. And for the team name, I actually have a special message from Mr. Mouse himself. Take it away, Mickey. Oh boy, if it isn't my old pal Marcus. Notice you haven't been in the park in a couple months. You should probably stop by and give me all your money, huh? Not helpful, Mr. Mouse. You should follow me for more, because next week I'll have a new opponent, a new team name, and a new logo. Playa! Welcome back to episode 3 of changing my fantasy football team name and logo to make fun of whoever I'm playing that week in what I'm calling the season-long slow roast. This week's victim is Lucas. Lucas is the defending champ, and we have been inundated with more photos like this than I'm comfortable with. Despite having an almost unlimited catalog of embarrassing photos of Lucas, I could just flash embarrassing photo after embarrassing photo, but that's lazy. I'm better than that. Lucas isn't good at a lot, but one thing he's very good at is drinking. And I can confirm that we used to have some great times. This is Monkey Pants, a karaoke bar down the street from our old house. Lucas has given himself a self-imposed ban from this bar for this particular story. It wasn't the time he jumped up on stage to sing a karaoke song he hadn't signed up for, only for the MC's disembodied voice to come through the speakers throughout the entire bar saying,
"Lucas, get off the stage!"
It also wasn't the time he showed up at the house at 6:30 a.m. on a bird scooter, missing a sandal with a 30 rack of Coors Light between his legs. The reason Lucas banned himself from Monkey Pants is because last time Lucas was there, he was in rare form. He had just come from a concert and was on the phone with a girl he'd been on a couple dates with. I took the phone and assured the girl, Amy, that he was in good hands, because I was sober and she was concerned that he might be too drunk. Lucas was too drunk. So I played catch up because you should never let a buddy be that drunk alone. Later that evening, I had the opportunity to leave the bar with a lady.
You want to get out of here?
So I did.
Nice.
But this isn't a video about how awesome I am. It's about what happened the next morning when I woke up to this text. Lucas had passed out in the Burger King parking lot across the street, just a few hours after I had given my word to some girl that I would take care of him. That's on me. But they've now been dating for close to 2 years, moved in together, and got a dog. And you can thank me later. But enough time has passed, so it is time to come home, Lucas. Anyway, let's work on this team logo. Let's first start with his bed for the evening, which would be the parking lot. Then we will add the BK building over top of that. Let's put the BK sign with a marquee that we'll put something in later. We'll then pull up the picture of him sleeping outside from earlier. Sleeping outside for Lucas seems to be kind of a theme, so we will cut him out of this chair and place him in his slumbering position. We'll flip him real quick, Then we'll go back to the marquee. We will take out what it has currently said. Say, management gets pretty annoyed with people sleeping in their parking lots, so please stop sleeping in our parking lot. For the team name, obviously we're going to change that to the BK Lounger. If I beat Lucas this week, he has to go back to Monkey Pants. Hold him to that in the comments and like below. Follow me for more for when next week I have a new opponent, I'll have a new team name and a new team logo. See ya! Fantasy football team names are generic, unfunny puns. So this season, I've been using my less than impressive Photoshop skills to make fun of whoever I'm playing that week, in what I'm calling the season-long slow roast. This week, I played Cam. That's Cam with a K because his parents were cool. Cam is one of the managers in this league that I only have met a handful of times, so making fun of him will be more challenging than anyone else so far.
I don't even know the guy, to be honest with you.
This season, our league added a weekly punishment. If you start a player and that player scores 0 points or less, you have to take a Smirnoff Ice, chug it, and record the whole thing for the league to watch. And of course, Cam was the first person who had to do this. And, well, just watch for yourself. My apologies for the sound alone. I have so many questions. Like, how did your back get wet during that? And what was it like having your wife record that? And be prepared to see this video again during the custody hearing. But what else do we know about Cam? For the past few years, Cam has been sporting a man bun, which has never been a good look. Cam also played soccer in high school, which, being in a fantasy football league, might as well be the equivalent to Dungeons and Dragons. And just by the look of him, it wouldn't surprise me at all if he actually did play Dungeons and Dragons. That game nerds played with wizards and shit, I don't know, I was cool in high school. Cam's biggest contribution to this league might be his smack talk in the group chat. Cam is one of the most active shit talkers, if you can even call it that. And by that I mean his trash talk reads more like a homicidal maniac's manifesto than actual shit talking.
I'm gonna take my hand, stick it inside of you, and then open it like a baseball mitt.
Guys, it's really bad. It's very cringy. That's it. That's the team name this week. Cringy Cam. And cringy is obviously spelled with a K because like Cam's parents, I too am pretty cool. Alright, for the logo, let's start by putting Cam right in the middle here, and let's surround him with a bunch of his Dungeons and Dragons friends. So we will put them all around him. They're all cringing because he probably said something weird in the group chat, and they don't know how to respond, so they say nothing. When I think of like wizards and stuff, I think of like outdoors and like a fire. So let's put them in front of a fire at night in the woods, and let's give them that wizard hat again. That was pretty cool. In fact, let's give them all wizard hats. Cam is definitely the leader of this D&D club, so let's signify that in some way. I'm thinking we put just a red X right on his hat. So get the red, pull it up, and we will just put a little X or kind of a cross right on the wizard hat. Perfect. And we can give him kind of a cool name. President Wizard doesn't really work. Let's give him something more mystical, magical, like the Grand Wizard. Yeah, that'll work. And now we just need the team name. I will go into my league settings, erase the old one, and I'm thinking the Cringy Cam Club. I like the alliteration and the inability he will have to explain this to his students when they inevitably find this on TikTok. And there you have it. There's my team name and logo. Follow me for next week. I'll have a new opponent, a new team, and a new logo. Thanks, and see ya. Welcome back to week 5 of me roasting the members of my fantasy football league depending on who I'm playing that week in what I'm calling the season-long slow roast. This week's opponent is Bodmer. Bodmer is an avid sports fan. Emphasis on avid. He makes that Chargers lady fan seem like a church mouse. But since he's a dude, he has one of the most punchable faces of any sports fan. The fact that he hasn't started a section-wide brawl is shocking. Amazingly, he's never been in an altercation. Bodmer is the villain of this league, and it isn't even close. And he leans into that villain persona. If he's not tweeting into the void to his 72 followers on Twitter by calling some congresswoman a dumb bitch, he is sending one of the most one-sided fantasy football trades where he preys on desperate last-place teams. Okay, it was me. He took advantage of me. I needed a running back.
It's not your fault. I know.
It's not your fault. All right? It's not your fault. It's not your fault. Don't fuck with me, all right? Don't fuck with me, Sean. Not you. It's not your fault.
Thanks, Robin Williams. It isn't my fault. If you too have been taken advantage of via a fantasy football trade, we have a support group. We meet on Tuesdays. Bodmer even invited one of his friends to the league that literally only sets his lineup when Bodmer has to text him and remind him to. Don't even get me started on the one-way trades that these two have completed over the years. This villain has a minion, and this minion is basically Bodmer's second burner team. We're talking some absolutely diabolical shit here. Besides the uneven trades, Bodmer is very vocal about how much better he would run this league. And when he is champion, we will all bow down to him.
You will bow down before me! Both you, and then one day, your ass!
He's starting to have the insane ramblings that a homeless person on the light rail would have.
I'll get you, bitch!
But he literally just lost to his burner account last week. He's basically the villain equivalent to Skeletor.
For I will win this league!
Lie to me, but don't lie to yourself.
He's like every Scooby-Doo villain, because he has these grandiose visions of how his evil empire will reign superior for years to come, only to be outdone every year by these meddling losers. Here's a reenactment of how Bodmer's season ends every single year. Alright gang, let's see who's been ruining the integrity of this league. Why, it's old man Bodmer.
Jinkies, you think someone who had benefited from one of the most one-sided trades in league history would have won at least one playoff game?
You said it, Velma Lucas. And I would have won this league if it wasn't for all the injuries and all you meddling kids. Our team is trash. Did you enjoy that? Because that was an absolute bitch to edit. Alright, for this week's logo, I'm clearly going with the Scooby-Doo theme. So I will take this still frame from the show that shows Fred with the villain. I will then use the content fill to fill this white space, and I will then take off their heads and replace them with the photoshopped ones of our cartoon heads. And just in case people don't realize this is a Scooby-Doo parody, I will just throw in Scoob here. Next, then I'll go in and change my team name. Every villain in Scooby-Doo was either called like Ghost this or Phantom that. Then it always ended up being just the old owner. So we will name the team Old Man Bodmer. Well, there you go. I hope you enjoyed. And follow me because next week I will have a new opponent, a new team name, and a new team logo. See ya. Welcome back. You know the drill by now. I'm roasting everyone in my fantasy football league depending on who I'm matched up against that week. This week's opponent is Andre. Andre is a little shit starter, as in he stirs the pot when it comes to drama only to walk away while everything is burning in the background. Andre has a severe addiction to Louis Vuitton, which is totally normal for a 32-year-old single man.
Red flag number 1.
Andre is a Raiders fan, but he has no criminal record, so is he even a Raiders fan? You probably wouldn't have guessed it, but Andre is kind of a ladies' man. Andre cleans up on the dating apps, or at least he says he does. I can't tell you the number of times I've had this exact conversation with Andre. I've been talking to this new girl on Tinder. Oh, can I see a pic? No! Andre once got the phone number of a woman at a bar. The woman, who was pushing 60, insisted he take it, only to later turn him down because he was, quote, too young for her.
But she's an old lady. I mean, look at her. She's old.
If that doesn't deflate your ego, nothing will. But of all the personality traits Andre possesses, the one that is most prominent is his incessant need to show off that he likes to run.
It's a great way to stay in shape.
If you don't know Andre is a runner, you clearly don't follow him on Instagram.
It's a great way to stay in shape.
Andre treats running like guys who've never played sports treat CrossFit, meaning they never shut the fuck up about it.
And it's a great way to stay in shape.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
So when Andre mentioned he was doing a half marathon in a few months, I thought, how hard could it be? I challenged him to a race. As the months went by, Andre would go out drinking with us on a Saturday and wake up early Sunday to go running with his running club, while I laid in bed hungover all day. I did zero training because the act of running sounds awful. Physically exhausting myself while being alone with my thoughts for over 2 hours? Yeah, no thanks. My plan was to start in the very last group and work my way up the race to hopefully catch Andre, and from there just run the rest of the race with Andre so I would be guaranteed a win. I spent the first 3 miles juking senior citizens like I was Barry Sanders. On this course, 10 miles in, there is a section that is a mile up a slight hill that immediately turns around and goes right back down that same hill. Right as I was finishing the downhill section of that course, I finally saw Andre. But he was just starting to go up that hill, which means I was at least 3 miles ahead of Andre. Which was great because I was chafing like Andy from The Office. Honestly, Andre could beat me this week in fantasy by 1,000. I would not care, because he could never take away the memory of that look on his face that day. When I passed him, I saw a defeated man. While they gave out bananas to everyone at the finish line, they saved a slice of humble pie for Andre. Alright, let's hammer out this logo. First, we'll start with a marathon. We will take out the people, and then we will add me crossing the finish line, and we'll put Andre about 23 minutes behind me. Yep, right there. And who is Andre running from? Why is he running every weekend? My guess is he's running from the mystery dating app chicks. So we'll put them in the background here. And why are they a mystery? How come we don't know who they are? Yep, that's probably why. And for the team name, we will erase the old one from last week, and we'll put something like, he's a runner, he's a track star, he's not very fast, so he doesn't get far. Or something like that. I don't know, whatever the kids are into these days. Well, there you have it. There's the logo and the team name for track star Andre. Follow me for more when next week I have a new opponent, a new team name, and a new team logo. Thanks, and see ya! Welcome back. I've spent the last 7 weeks roasting everyone in my fantasy football league in a segment I like to call the season-long slow roast. To this point in the segment, I've been able to give you an idea of who every opponent is and why they are deserving of such mockery. But this week is different. I play Cal, and I recently just learned that his first name is Cal.
My name is not Cal.
I know absolutely nothing about Kyle. To my knowledge, I've never met him, and if I have, I would be justified in saying he is the most generic, forgettable white boy you've ever seen. He kinda looks like the lead character from Revenge of the Nerds. The one who committed that heinous felony. Rewatch it again, it's weird. My idea for this week was to reach out to a member of the league who does know Kyle, to do a guest roast for this week. But even his own frat brothers know nothing about him. Who is he?
Who the fuck is this guy? Hey! Who the fuck are you?
I get avoiding an odd number of people in the league is critical, and 10-team leagues are a joke. But is this the best we can do? Kyle is basically squatting in this league. But ultimately, this is our fault for not having a lot of friends.
I gotta get some fucking friends.
But I was gonna dominate him this week, because he had 4 quarterbacks who were all either hurt or on a bye week. And since we're both fighting for the last playoff spot, this could not come at a better time. But then he goes off and trades for the best quarterback in the league, Patrick Mahomes. I'm gonna lose to the most forgettable NPC background character, Kyle. You can kiss the playoffs goodbye.
Playoffs?
It's been a fun year. Alright, for the logo, I was gonna do something plain, like just change his face and make him look like an NPC, but I thought that was too lazy. But I kinda liked the idea of Revenge of the Nerds. So I took the movie poster, and I took his head and put it on top, obviously. I then went ahead and took out the Lambda 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 and put his frat, SIGAP. Really emphasize whose underwear it is. I put his name on the back. I like the NPC idea though, so we will make this Revenge of the NPC. And there you have it. Follow me for more, when next week I'll have a new opponent, a new team name, and a new team logo. Thanks, and see ya. Welcome back to week 8 of me roasting the members of my fantasy football league. And I am definitely not regretting making this a regular series that I call the season-long slow roast. This week my opponent is Ryan. Ryan is our league's commissioner. Being a fantasy football commissioner is a thankless job. You are essentially a glorified debt collector.
It's been 24 hours. Got my money? Oh, you know what? Just give me till next Friday. I'll have it for you.
And a notary approving literally any trade that is agreed upon. Ryan as commissioner is always trying to keep the league engaged and the morale high. He implemented the weekly punishment for starting players who score 0 points. The punishment being you must record yourself chugging a Smirnoff Ice and post it to the group chat. Here's how many times that punishment has been levied. And here's how many videos that have been posted. Seeing the lack of enthusiasm, Ryan then wanted to change the punishment to something easier but way more time consuming. And the league said,
No.
Ryan has absolutely no control over this league. Sounds like another leader I know. Ryan is expecting his first child in a few months, and if his parenting style is anything like his commissioner style, this kid's gonna do whatever she wants.
Whatever, I do what I want.
Ryan has the very annoying habit of being naturally good at everything, whether it's drinking games, darts, or even playing the guitar.
Anyway, here's Wonderwall.
He always finds a way to win and then shoot you that infuriating little smirk at you when he does. And of course, he has a single player playing on the Monday night game who will casually drop 50 points, completing yet another miraculous comeback. Alright, for the team logo, I'm thinking since Ryan is the president of the league, we'll give him a presidential portrait. So we'll put him here in a nice suit. He looks very presidential. But the previous administration is not going to go down without a fight. And they can smell a fraud from a mile away. So we will just put Biden behind him to make sure that he's always on his toes. And for the team name, since America has Sleepy Joe, our league has Resting Ryan. And there you have it. For more, follow me when next week I will have a new opponent, a new team name, and a new team logo. Thanks, and see ya. Welcome back to part 9 of me roasting the members of my fantasy football league. Each week I change my team name and logo to make fun of whoever I'm playing that week, in what I'm calling the season-long slow roast. This week I play Adam. Adam is one of the most unintentionally goofy people I've ever met. Think of him as this league's Mr. Bean. Adam has a history of embarrassing gaffes, from the time he almost got away with pooping his pants and no one noticing, until a little Hershey Kiss rolled out the bottom of his shorts in front of everyone.
Dude, did you just shit your pants? No.
At his bachelor party, I got to watch Adam tell one of his friends that he was uninvited to the wedding because COVID made them downsize their wedding capacity. Only for me to do this? And Adam said, and I quote,
Yes! That's awesome!
You need to come to my wedding. But one of the most embarrassing things Adam has ever done is when he tried to make a trade in our fantasy football league. Now, this wasn't any normal trade. On the surface, yes, it was. But the way he went about it is what is the most egregious part. After days of not getting a response, he had the audacity to reach out to the wife of the person he had sent the trade to.
I'm sorry, why are you talking to my wife about this?
Fantasy football is an escape from our wives and girlfriends. You don't need to include them by making them a messenger for some bullshit trade for Jalen Hurts. Since Adam has set the precedent, I think it's only fair for me to reach out to his wife to help me roast him. So take it away, Kelsey.
I was trying to think of good roasts for Adam, but I would say if he just put half the energy into the relationship as he puts into football or gaming, we'd have just everything.
Jesus Christ.
Another time when we were dating, he wanted me to come over, and I said, if you're gonna go on your computer games, because we all know Adam is a frickin' weirdo and plays stupid little video games with his stupid little headset on. And so I get over there, and then he's like, oh, Kelsey, the guys just like really need me tonight, as if he was going to be walking into World War III saving the fucking world like a loser. And so I left because I said, if you are going to hop on that computer, I'm going to leave. 45 minutes go by, and this mofo had no idea that I had actually left.
I made my family disappear.
So he deserves a roast for that, in my opinion.
Terrific. Terrific.
Alright, for the team logo, if you get a call from Adam, odds are it's most likely a spam call. So we will put him in a call center where he makes terrible phone calls and interrupts your day. And we'll take off this guy's head, we'll put Adam's head on, and we'll put his stupid little headset, and then we'll have him say something super outdated, and yep, that should do it. And for the team name, I think it's pretty obvious. We gotta go with the Wife Whisperer. My apologies to Adam. You set the precedent here, so this is all fair game. And congrats on the hot wife. Follow me for more, where next week I will have a new opponent, a new team name, and a new team logo. Thanks, and see ya! Welcome back to part 10 of me roasting the members of my fantasy football league. Each week I change my team name and logo to make fun of whoever I'm playing that week, in what has become the longest homework assignment of my life, and what I'm calling the season-long slow roast. This week I play Kyler, and let's start with the positives. Kyler is my favorite Kyler in this league, and that's about it. Kyler is a puppet in this league. Remember last week's roast where the guy called the wife of another player to make him look at a trade? That was Kyler's wife. Kyler's wife has been more active in this league than Kyler has. Kyler's been so checked out of this league since day one, he forgot about the inaugural draft for a dynasty fantasy football league. You keep your entire team year after year and only draft rookies. And while he was on a plane, the algorithm thought it would be important to draft 9 defensive players. So he was almost immediately the worst team starting day one. Kyler was dragged into this league because we needed another team. And there isn't a doubt in my mind, all of his decisions are made by his only friend in this league, Matt. Matt is the puppet master over Kyler. One-sided trade after one-sided trade over the past 3 years has been hard to watch. And it wouldn't be a problem if Matt's team wasn't so terrible. But it's definitely going to be a problem in the future.
No. Everything's cool right now. Might be some problems later, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
So let me make a plea to Kyler. Kyler, buddy, you don't have to be in this league. We can let someone take over this team that might actually check in once in a while. No more will you have to give your password to Matt for him to set your lineup and take all your best players. You can get Adam to stop calling your wife to get in contact with you. You can cut the strings and become a real boy again.
I'm a real boy!
Do you get it? He's a puppet. Alright, for the logo, I was thinking of using the iconic puppet video Bye 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 from NSYNC. So right here we've got JC hanging from some strings. Let's go ahead and put Kyler's head on there. And who is controlling these strings? Let's zoom out real quick. And it's none other than Matt. This is just such a fitting representation of Kyler in this fantasy league. For the team name, I was thinking Cut the Strings. But if Kyler does end up leaving this league, I think a more fitting name would be... And there you have it. Follow me for more, because next week I will have a new opponent, therefore a new team name and a new team logo. Thanks, and see ya. Welcome back to part 11 of me roasting the members of my fantasy football league. For the past 11 weeks, I have publicly shamed every member of my fantasy football league the week I was matched up against them, in what I've been calling the season-long slow roast. This is my final opponent, Josh. Josh was this league's very first champion, and he was not shy about showing it off.
Alright, good night, babe. I'll see you in the morning.
Josh quickly came back down to earth the following year when he got last place and was forced to do the last place punishment, where he had to play a round of golf with the league dressed in women's golf attire. He wasn't required to shave his legs, but he did anyway.
Hey, that's kind of sus.
Sus indeed. You can catch Josh at a Suns game flying above the rim on the dunk team, but you wouldn't be able to tell from his Instagram profile picture because he's clearly doing a finger roll layup.
You gotta dunk that shit!
Josh's average height for a man, at 5'9", I'm 5'10". Yeah, whatever, Kyler Murray. But he has the level of little man syndrome of an actual little person.
Small power!
I'm sorry God loved me more. Josh also stimulates the local economy by subscribing to an alarming amount of mid-tier amateur OnlyFans models.
Guess what? Grows the economy. Benefits everybody. Hurts nobody.
Boy, there's no real easy way to say this, but, look, you're a simp.
Josh's dunk team name is Suave, which is Spanglish for has no game. I'm comfortable enough in my own heterosexuality to say, Josh isn't a bad-looking dude. But when it comes to the ladies, Josh goes from Suave to Simple Jack real quick.
You make me happy.
You know what? It's time to go home.
Really?
If I have to hear old sad boy Josh complain about another girl who friend-zoned him, I'm gonna jump out of a window. Take it from me, bottle up all those sad, dark feelings, push them way down deep, and just listen to some Zach Bryan songs like everybody else. And Josh, if I could give you any advice about talking to girls, just remember,
everybody knows you never go full retard.
Alright, for the logo, I like the Simple Jack idea, so we'll put Simple Jack here. And then I will put Josh's face over top of that. So I will raise the edges of his face to make it fit on his frame. And there's one thing missing. We need that Simple Jack mouth. We're gonna jack up your teeth again, Josh. So there we go. And the team name's obviously just gonna be Simple Josh. I'm gonna put a dash after Simp because of the OnlyFans. And there you have it. There is every team member in my fantasy league roasted for about 3 minutes on TikTok. I am so glad for this series to be over. I never want to make one of these videos again. If you want to go to my YouTube, you can follow me there, subscribe, follow me here. I'll come out with other content that isn't a roast video for people you don't know. Thanks, and see ya. Oh, you thought we were done? No, I'm back with one final bonus episode of the season-long Slow Roast. During a traditional roast, everyone gets their fair share of jabs and ridicule. I spent the past 11 weeks making fun of everyone in my fantasy football league. That's 11 uniquely crafted videos for every member of the league. But there's one problem. This is a 12-team league. I forgot this big ol' bitch. All is fair in the roasting world. And even if I'm the tallest, most athletic, and arguably the best looking,
Objection!
I definitely deserve this. So here we go. I would first like to apologize to anyone who may have seen me in the last year while I was growing out my hair. I thought it would look cool, but it definitely did not look cool. I looked like an 80s lesbian, but not to worry, I recently got my hair cut, and now I look like a modern day lesbian. If you go to my social media or my dating profile back in the day, there were a lot of pictures depicting me doing stand-up comedy. They are presented as recent, but all of them are from before COVID.
You're a phony!
I do stand up again, but open mics are the worst, and I don't think my friends want me to ruin their future Wednesdays by guilting them into coming to a bringer show. I've always looked young for my age. During a podcast I was an intern on, professional comedian Sam Tripoli called me, a then 26-year-old man, a giant toddler.
That's one big ass baby.
When I was 21 and I'd go to bars, I had the cops called on my real ID 3 separate times. Older friends of mine would tell me it would be a blessing in 10 years when I could still fit into college bars.
For the love of God, cherish it.
And for the most part, they were right. What they didn't tell me is the next generation of college girls would speak exclusively in abbreviations and all belong to the cult of Taylor Swift. Alright, speed round. I would lose a facial hair competition to an Armenian woman, and at the end of it, mine would look grosser. I have roommates 5 months out of the year. Those roommates are my parents. My personality was formed around the sketch comedy group The Whitest Kids You Know, and it hasn't developed since. I went 4 years without health insurance, and in the last 3 years when I've had it, I've still never been to the doctor because...
Fuck that noise.
And finally, when I was in 5th grade, I requested a meeting with my teacher and my mom to talk about how reading was extremely difficult for me. A very mature thing for a 10-year-old to do. Well, my teacher wasn't buying it and thought I was trying to get out of reading assignments. So what she did was told me to suck it up and gave me extra reading assignments. Years later, I found out I had dyslexia.
I heard it's retarded or something.
Alright, for the logo, I was thinking about using that 80s lesbian picture of me and turning it into the clown meme. So we will turn my hair rainbow color, and then we will paint my face white, which is the only acceptable color I can paint it. I will add a clown nose and some eye makeup, and we'll remove that scowl by putting a permanent smiley face. And knowing I won't make the playoffs for a 3rd year in a row, here come the waterworks. And for the team name, I was thinking of Tears of a Clown. Don't read too much into it, it's not that deep. Alright, there you have it. That is the last season-long Slow Roast. Thanks for sticking around all this time, and see ya! Holy hell, you made it to the end of the video. Absolutely proud of you. This was a ton of fun to do. I don't know if you noticed, but it got pretty tedious at the end when I was working with the week deadline. But now that it's done and behind me, I'm actually very proud of it. So go ahead and follow me on Twitter, TikTok. I'm trying to do more stuff like this, and it's fun to have an audience to talk to. So go ahead and subscribe and comment down below who got it the worst. What was your favorite roast and who should never show their face again in public? It's Lucas, it's not a question. I'll be releasing this right before Christmas, so Merry Christmas and...
Player.